John Deere B. It's 1940. This is Terry Lakes from McHenry. Again, we're talking about that some of these John Deere's early ones, the A's and B's you see come through, they basically have a piece of sheet metal over them. And some of them look real nice. They have body lines showing out the side and everything. And that's because John Deere brought in New York-based Henry Draco to do all of their styling and design and whatnot. And Henry Draco's been their styling for many years, even up until. And here we have a John Deere 40. This is Ron Richardson out of Marengo, Illinois. It's a 1955. Again, John Deere 40, one of the smaller bits of John Deere's line. Here we have a Cultivision Farm All A. That Cultivision meaning that you're offset to the side so that you can see your cultivator better under you and you don't damage your crops. That is a 1947. We have a 1953 Farm All Super M. This is Jim Quinn's out of Clare, Illinois again. That Super Designator. The U was a bigger, bulkier version of the Z, a lot stronger tractor. Here we have a Farm All H. This is Jim Quinn's out of Clare. Here we have an Oliver company coming along. Oliver was originally has a sort of similar story to how John Deere got going. Oliver was making plows and he wanted to get into the tractor business. But instead of building his own tractor, he went and acquired a company. He bought Park Par. Park Par had been making large-scale prairie tractors and whatnot. But the problem with Park Par was that they did not make smaller tractors when smaller tractors started becoming more popular. Here we have a Cub Lowboy. This is the Bruckner family, and this Cub, so Cub Cadet, you saw a Farm All Cub come through earlier. Cub Cadet is a direct descendant of that. The Farm All Cub was the inspiration for International Harvester to then change that into a Cub Cadet. Here we have a John Deere VR 1966, Underwood out of DeKalb, Illinois. Again, the VR, which is the standard tread version of that John Deere B you've seen come through. Here we have a 1949 Minneapolis Moline ZA. This is Mark Reimers out of Dundee, Illinois. Here we have Bob Thoreau coming through on his Farm All C from Hampshire, Illinois. That tractor's done a lot of farm work in his day. He's got a custom people wagon behind there. Tin metal roof. I bet that tin metal roof sounds great in the rain. Here we have a 1940 Minneapolis Moline UTS. This is Phil Geisler out of Marengo, Illinois. Saw that other U come through before. That one was set up for road crop. This one is set up for standard tread. This is one of Minneapolis Moline's more powerful plowing tractors. Also, you'll notice in the back wheel hubs here, you see that there's a whole big chunk of metal sticking out. Those are wheel weights. That was to help make you have more traction and be able to help it handle better load. Here we have a 1966 Alice Chalmers D17. This is Dakota Landorf's out of Marengo, Illinois. 60-degree turn, very good for getting around in tight spaces. And then this is a Case SC with the chicken roost steering on the side. So you see that steering linkage going down the side of the left side of the engine. It's called the chicken roost steering because nice place for some chickens to sit. Here we have one of our directors, Jack Stuffle, with his Worthington Tug Doodle Bug, which is almost sort of a combination of a tractor and a truck all mixed together. A lot of times these were used at golf courses and airports to go around equipment. Here we have a John Deere 80. John Deere 80 was what came right after the R. So they made the R, had that two-cylinder pony motor, and then they changed it from being the R, they changed it to being the 80, and they put in a V4 pony engine in there. Here we have a little Farm All B, 1946. This is out of Kingston, Illinois. Farm All B is very small, tractor. What are they doing again? Like orchards or something, or nurseries, things like that. You can see if you look at the axles, you'll notice the axle is not straight across the tires. That's called drop box. Basically, there's gearing in those little hubs the axle, and basically that was it. You gave yourself better clearance over the top of your crops. Here we have a John Deere 830 diesel. This is a 1959. This is Nick Rivera out of Gilbert, Illinois. The 830, a direct descendant of that 80 that you saw come before. These 30 series John Deeres, these were basically being made during a time when John Deere was sort of trying to stall a little bit while they were in production on their new generation of tractors, things like the 4020. Here we have some half scales coming through. Sort of like people saying, not everybody has room for a big tractor in your garage, but if you make that tractor very small, lawnmower size almost, then you have a neat thing here. Here we have a half scale of a Ford 8M. This is Angie Richardson out of Marengo in memory of Grandpa Lloyd Todd. Here we have a half scale of a Farmall W6. This is Ray Richardson out of Marengo, Illinois. W6 was basically the standard tread